Hello, one and all. I am MC Ballyhoo here with my sidekick for the day, the one and only Pauline. We're going to give you the rundown of how the season has gone thus far, as each team has one game played in the books.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready to rock and roll through these first 3 games of the season.
We had 3 exciting games to start the season. The Mario Fireballs faced off against the Peach Monarchs in Game 1. The DK Wilds had a slugfest with the Wario Muscles, and the Yoshi Eggs attempted to defend their home field in a night game at Yoshi Park. Let's start with Game 1 between the Mario Fireballs and Peach Monarchs at Mario Stadium. This one was a pitching showdown where both Peach and Mario held it down on the mound. It wasn't until the top of the 5th inning with 2 outs when things changed. Peach kept things alive by doubling into the right center gap. It was Peach's second hit of the game, and it came at a good time as it made way for Daisy to come up to the plate. Mario delivers the pitch with 1 strike, and Daisy sends it to the opposite gap of Peach's double, and it goes all the way to the wall, allowing Peach to score the go-ahead run that put them on top. Peach was able to finish the game on the mound and allow the Monarchs to edge this one out 1-0. A great nail-biter of a game to start the season. Here's your box score from that one. Pauline, what can we take away from this game?
Yeah, this one was just a game of which pitcher would make a mistake first. It started to look like nobody was going to give this game up. It just came down to some disciplined hitting from Peach and Daisy in the 5th to just pull out ahead. This is the kind of game we can expect from these 2 teams. They're both so smart in how they play. They're not going to blow you away with big bats or crazy defensive gems. There may be some of that, but really their goal is to just play smart and let the other team make the first mistake.
This time it was the Fireballs who slipped up, but it very well may be different next time they play each other. Now let's take a look at Game 2. This was one that we all expected to be a bit of a slugfest, and while it seemed like it was going to be one-sided early on, it ended up coming through for us at the end. Boo on the mound for the Muscles. The Wilds started out hot with Diddy Kong leading the game off with a base hit. This was quickly followed up by Dixie Kong smashing the first pitch right back up the middle for a hit, as well putting runners on first and second. Tiny Kong kept the party going by lining the ball right over second base. This loaded the bases for Donkey Kong with no outs in the first. The reigning MVP did what he does best and comes up clutch and obliterates the pitch and sends it over the wall for a grand slam. This put the Wilds up 4-0 with no outs in the first inning and got Boo pulled from the mound. Critter came up a few batters later with 2 runners on base and almost blew it open even wider, but Red Koopa gets tossed high in the air and steals the home run away, keeping the score as it was for now. The score stayed steady up until the top of the 4th. Dixie Kong singles into center and drives the runner at third in to make it 5-0. Things get a little interesting in the bottom of the 4th. With the bases loaded, Paratroopa lines it into the right center gap, and it rolls to the wall, allowing 2 runners to cross home plate. This makes the score 5-2 now. Diddy Kong retires the next 2 batters, though, bringing us into the 5th and final inning. Donkey Kong leads off the 5th, and he's not satisfied with just a grand slam. He wants another homer, and he gets it here. This will widen the Wilds' lead to 6-2 now. Diddy Kong has them on the ropes with 2 outs in the bottom of the final inning, but Boo singles to left to keep it alive, ironically. King Boo steps in with hopes to get something going for the Muscles here down to their final out. He does just that as he sends it way back and over the wall for a 2-run blast that brings the Muscles within 2 runs, making it a 6-4 game. Unfortunately for the Muscles, they'll fall just short as Donkey Kong comes in to close it out and gets Waluigi to fly out to right field to end this game. A valiant effort by the Muscles, but they come up just short. What did you see from this game, Pauline?
A couple of things. 1, I saw just why Donkey Kong is your reigning MVP. He picked up right where he left off and hammered 2 homers, one being a grand slam that got the momentum rolling that they never looked back from. We also saw a Muscles team that started out very cold and looked like their bats had nothing going for them. The muscle we expect just wasn't there. They got it together at the end, but it was too little too late. If they want long-term success in this league, they'll need to find some consistency, which they seem to lack in all phases of the game in this one.
Agreed, the Muscles have the potential. Lucky for them, they have 4 more games to look forward to, so they can put this one behind them and look ahead to their next one. With 2 close matchups in the books, we have what appears to be a mismatch on paper as the dominant power bats of the Monsters take on the soft-hitting speedsters of the Yoshi Eggs. Let's see if the mismatch on paper translates to the field. This one got heated up early in the bottom of the first with 2 runners on for Bowser at the plate. Shy Guy gets him to ground out to third though, but not before moving the runners over. This brought up Hammer Bro, who did what he does best and hammered it to right field and kept it just fair for a 3-run home run. This gave the Monsters an early 3-0 lead. They weren't done yet though, as Fire Bro, not to be outdone by his brother, smashes the ball to straightaway center over the wall for a solo blast to increase the lead to 4-0. The score remained unchanged until the bottom of the third for Boomerang Bro batting with his 2 other brothers on base at the corners. A liner into the right center gap scores one of them to bring it to 5-0. And that's where it really began to unravel for the Yoshi Eggs. Red Magikoopa follows it up with another hit to drive in the 6th run for the Monsters. A few batters later in the inning, Dry Bones comes up with the bases loaded and gets an RBI base hit to score the runner from third, now 7-0. Dark Bones comes in and does the same and hits a base hit RBI to score the 8th run for the Monarchs as Red Magikoopa scores. Magikoopa gets a bit too aggressive though and gets thrown out at home for the 2nd out. Bowser up next wanting to keep the rally going, and he hammers it to left field and bounces it off the wall. That's enough to score Dry Bones for the 9th run for the Monsters. This brings Yoshi to the mound to hopefully stop the damage. Unfortunately for Yoshi and the Eggs, Hammer Bro was all over it and crushes his 2nd home run of the game, a 3-run blast to give the Monsters the 12-0 lead, and still just the 3rd inning. Fire Bro comes up again to bat and hammers it to the train track in center field. The fielders are under it, but the train takes them both out, allowing Fire Bro to get on with a double. Boomerang Bro up to follow it up, and he crushes a liner also to the train track that scores Fire Bro to make it 13-0. A few batters and a few base hits later, with the bases loaded still in the bottom of the third. With 2 outs, Bowser Jr. gets a base hit to score the 14th run. With the bases still loaded and Dry Bones up, he absolutely crushes it and sends it soaring over the wall in center field for a grand slam. That makes this an 18-0 ball game. Light Blue Yoshi comes in to pitch in an attempt to get that elusive 3rd out. Dark Bones hits a line drive, but Birdo saves the day by sucking it in and securing it for the 3rd out after the Monsters score 14 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Both unfortunately and fortunately for the Eggs, that will be the end of the scoring for both teams, as this one ends up finishing out with a final score of 18-0 for a decisive Bowser Monsters victory. Pauline, what did you think about this one?
Oh, I absolutely hated every minute of it. I'm a Yoshi Eggs fan, and it was heartbreaking to watch. For the Monsters, 14 of their 18 runs came with 2 outs. That's a crazy stat and just shows you how clutch this Monsters team is. They don't get rattled. 2 outs or no outs, they're unfazed either way. They absolutely bullied poor Yoshi on the mound, who came in with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, and left the mound with still 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, but with 9 more runs on the Monsters spot on the scoreboard. I plan to wipe this game from my memory, and hopefully the Eggs can put this one behind them and move on to their next game with a fresh start. There's still plenty of time for them to turn it around.
Still 4 more games for them remaining as with the other teams. Each game in this league is important, but there's still enough left to turn things around and get into the playoffs. Speaking of which, let's take a quick look at the current standings around the league. For those who don't know, we have the Mushroom League and the Shell League. The 2 teams with the best record from each of those leagues will make the playoffs, with the last place team in each one going home for the season. Win-loss record is what's most important, but if there's a tie with 2 teams having the same record, the tiebreaker is the run differential. Run differential is the total amount of runs the team has scored minus the total amount of runs scored against them. A higher number is better. Now for you stat nerds, let's see where the teams rank on batting. As you can see, the Monsters dominate so far in all categories, with the DK Wilds covering the runner-up position in them all. When it comes to pitching, both the Monsters and Monarchs have been dominant on the mound, with the Fireballs holding their own as well. Unfortunately, after the Yoshi Eggs beating at the bats of the Monsters, they are last in every category. Finally, when it comes to fielding, we see the Monsters lead the league in great plays, with both the Wilds and Eggs close behind. On the right side, we see that no team has had a single error in the field, which means we've seen some clean play on defense over the first 3 games of the season. And because I love stats so much, here are the individual league batting leaders in average home runs and RBIs. There are a handful of players with a perfect batting average so far. Both Donkey Kong and Hammer Bro have a pair of home runs to lead the league, with Hammer Bro just edging him out in the RBI category with 6 compared to Donkey Kong's 5. On to the league's pitching and fielding leaders. We have another handful of pitchers who have pitched scoreless innings and have not allowed a run, giving them a perfect 0 ERA. The category in the middle, called WHIP, stands for walks and hits allowed per inning pitched. This is the average amount of walks and hits the pitcher allows per each inning they pitch. Light Blue Yoshi leads in that category after coming in the game after the Monsters scored their 18th run of the game and was able to finish out the rest of the game, only allowing a single hit. In the Great Plays category, Critter is a menace at second base for the Wilds. He constantly goes all out to let nothing by him. Finally, let's take a look at the rest of the schedule for the 2026 season. We have a total of 15 regular season games. Each team will play every other team one time, giving each team 5 total games this season. We have a break after Game 9 for the All-Star Game, where we will take the best 9 players from the Mushroom League to face off against the best 9 players from the Shell League. Pauline, we'll see games 4, 5, and 6 played before we meet again for another highlight show after all teams have played their second game. Looking at the next 3 games, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Oh goodness, good question. As a Yoshi Eggs fan, I have a deep interest in Game 6 to see if they can turn it around against the Fireballs. Both of these teams got shut out in their first game, so it will be interesting to see if either of them can get their bats going. Game 5 as well, between the Bowser Monsters and DK Wilds, may end up being a fireworks show. These are 2 teams with massive power and are captained by the reigning MVP Donkey Kong and the MVP runner-up Bowser. Even Game 4 will be an interesting contrast of styles. Wario has his aggressive style versus Peach's more composed and technical approach. I really think we're in for a treat these next 3 games.
I think you nailed it, Pauline. We're in for an exciting stretch of games. That will about wrap this one up for us here in the studio. I'm MC Ballyhoo, signing off for myself and the legendary Pauline. See you at Game 4 between the Wario Muscles and Peach Monarchs. Good night and joy be with you all.